Welcome back to Fox Explainer. Today I am going to show you a British drama movie from 2019 called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Spoilers ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we see people harvesting their crops and putting corn in their baskets. Kids will always be kids, and they will play together. A man puts his hands around his heart and falls down in an instant. Then we go to John's funeral, where the priest tells us that God chose to take John away, but that he will always be remembered, just like a tree is remembered by the fruit it bears. For John, that would be his brother Trywell and Trywell's son, Jeremiah, who will carry on their father's work. Trywell's son William is trying to fix a radio. Trywell asks him if he fixed the radio for their next-door neighbor, but William hasn't done that yet. Trywell tells William to go up on the roof and try to fix it. He then goes outside and meets Annie, his daughter. He asks Annie if she slept, and she shakes her head and says, no, because she's been having bad dreams. Trywell's wife gives him a uniform and tells him to surprise William with it by putting it on his bed. In the end, William finds the uniform and puts it on. He is all set to start school. William and his friend Gilbert cross the street and walk to school together. Annie is listening to her mother, Agnes, talk with some other women about a girl whose family helped her get a job in the Ministry of Agriculture. Agnes tells Annie later that when she's done with college, she'll be able to get a good job, too. A well-dressed man rides his bike past them as they walk down the road to meet Trywell. He and Annie smile at each other, but they don't want Annie's parents to see them. That man goes to school and brings a bunch of kids to class. He says his name is Mr. Kachaganda and that he is their science teacher. William gives his teacher a letter from his sister when class is over. In response, Kachaganda tells him that he needs to pay the school's fees or he won't be able to keep coming here. William tries to study at night, but it's hard for him to do so because it's raining hard and the family doesn't have electricity or lights in the house. The next day at school, William and Gilbert find out how they did on their tests, and William thinks they can do better. They must figure out how to study at night. They go to a junkyard to look for anything that might help them. The next thing they do is walk to Gilbert's house, where a meeting is going on. A man from a business is giving the people money in exchange for cutting down some trees in their fields. Trywell and a few other people don't think this is a good idea, but Jeremiah agrees to it because he needs the money. Trywell and Jeremiah have a fight about it later at their house. Trywell tells him to stop gambling and save some money, but the man says he needs the money. Jeremiah tells him that the heavy rain has destroyed their crops and that this year, everyone is gambling in some way. William and Gilbert go to what looks like a local cafeteria at night and listen to a sports game on the radio. But the radio stops working, and everyone looks at William, wondering what he can do. William runs back to his house and asks Trywell if he will pay his school fees. Trywell says he will pay when it stops raining and the crops start growing. William takes the batteries out of their radio and runs back to the other kids. He fixes the radio and figures out how to tune into the game. Everyone claps. When he and Gilbert leave to go home, they see Annie and their teacher kissing. The next day, Gilbert tells William to break Kachaganda's bike so that he has to walk to town. When they get close to his bike, William realizes that the energy that comes from pedaling the bike goes to the light in front of it. William thinks it's cool, but the headmaster kicks him out of school because he didn't pay his tuition. The next morning, William goes back to school and skips the morning assembly. He goes straight to class. When the class is done, he asks Kachaganda about the light on his bike. The teacher explains that it is a dynamo, and William asks how he can make one. The teacher does not know everything and tells him to look in the library. William says he doesn't have a library card, and Kachaganda knows this means William hasn't paid his school fees. William tells his teacher that he can keep that a secret because he is also keeping a secret. There is a man going to his village to see his sister Annie. Kachaganda finds out and takes William to the library. He tells the librarian that he is working with William on a science project, and that William should be free to do his research in the library. The president of the country is coming to their village, and a lot of people have come to see him. The leader of the community steps up to the microphone and says that he has no problem voting for democracy, but he can't vote for a man who doesn't care about the problems of the people. He also says that the government should get ready for the bad harvests and take some steps to deal with them. The chief is taken away by the president's security, and as punishment, he is beaten up. The harvest doesn't go well for Trywell, and the corn they've gathered won't bring in enough money for the family. People are starting to feel uneasy because the prices are now very high. Trywell is upset, so he goes with a group of protesters to the president to try to put some pressure on him. Agnes tells him to stay with his family, but he is angry and goes with the rest of the protesters. Annie meets Kachiginda, who tells her she needs to leave her village and go somewhere else. At school, the headmaster goes to science class in place of Kachiginda and sees William. Now he throws him out for good. People are running out of food and water. People rush to buy grains when 2 government trucks pull up. Agnes gives all of their money to William and tells him to go buy as much grain as possible. A man breaks into Agnes's house and takes a basket of food from Annie's hands. Then, a group of other men break into their storage and steal all the supplies they still had. Even worse, by the time the trucks get close to the people waiting, the supplies are all gone. People follow the truck to a warehouse where more people are buying grain. But the officials say they can't sell any more grain today. People rush like a huge wave toward the warehouse, but William is able to sneak inside. He buys 15 kilograms of grain and waits in the warehouse with a few other people. Even though the doors are locked, the crowd is still waiting outside to steal whatever they can. The officials say they can't wait there forever, so they will have to open the doors. William finds a piece of metal with a hole in it and asks some men for help. They break the metal door open with a kick, and William is able to sneak out without being caught. When Trywell goes back to the village, his family gets together at their house. He tells his family that for now, they can only eat 1 meal a day and asks them to choose which one. The family tries to get by for the next few days with what they have. Trywell says that they should try again and plant some seeds. People say that the fields are dry and that nothing can grow there. Agnes stops Trywell from praying for rain. She says later that when they decided to start a family, they also agreed not to pray for rain like their ancestors did. One night, William knocks on his sister's door and tells her he knows she's been meeting with teacher Kachiginda. He tells her to tell him that he needs the dynamo. With that, instead of praying for rain, he can bring water to the crops and make it rain. William thinks about his thoughts on the fields the next day. When he gets home, he sees that his parents are in a tough spot. Annie wrote the letter that Agnes is holding in her hands. One less mouth to feed, the letter says. Annie has left with her boyfriend. Trywell asks William what he knows about it, but William doesn't know anything. They go to the school's headmaster to ask about the teacher, but he can't help. William asks the headmaster if he can at least use the library, and the headmaster says yes. William reads some books about making energy and then has an idea. He tells his friends that as an experiment, they should try to build a small windmill and see if they can get energy from the wind. They put together the windmill and hook it up to the radio. When air moves through the room, it starts to move. They pay Trywell a visit, but in the end, they are not successful in stealing his bike, and as a result, they leave without taking anything with them. Agnes starts a conversation with Trywell and asks him how many things she could end up losing as a result of their interaction. Since she had met him, she had lost a lot of things. She had already said goodbye to her parents and the land when she moved here, and now she had to say goodbye to her daughter as well. After hearing what she has to say, Trywell makes the decision to show his son some mercy and put his faith in him. William then gets to work after he is handed the bicycle by the man. The residents of the village who are still there come together to assist him in his time of need. They construct a windmill out of wood and attach metal components to it. The gusts of wind are getting stronger, and the blades have begun to turn. William claims that in order for the battery in the pump to be completely charged, it will require some additional time before it can be used. The battery begins to charge, and it also initiates the process of drawing its initial supply of water from the environment around it. Everyone's disposition immediately lifts once the water is finally able to start flowing again. They waste no time in getting to work and begin digging canals in order to improve the distribution of water across the dry fields. Trywell tells everyone to go get the seeds and plant them in the ground as instructed by Trywell. The film comes to a close with William looking at the windmill and informing his parents that the librarian wants to visit him along with a representative from the government, and that there is a possibility that he will be awarded a scholarship. A brief montage of still images and clips showing what happens to the family in the aftermath of the events depicted in the movie is shown just before the credits begin to roll. This montage occurs just before the end of the movie. Annie did not attend college, but she and Kachiginda now have 4 children. Trywell and Agnes have not moved out of their village. William was given a scholarship and attended school in the United States. And finally, Trywell and Agnes have not moved out of their village. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more and hit the like button to help me out, and also leave a comment if you want me to explain your favorite film. Until next time, take care.